Well, hey there. High school can be some of the most difficult, most challenging, most exciting, and most formative years of any young person's life. So I sat down with a few of our high school seniors that attend here at Worthington Christian Church to talk to them about life and about high school and about their walk with Christ and how they navigate through this season of life. I hope that you enjoy this conversation as much as I did. And here is my conversation with Ethan Henderson, Kaylee Bents, Barrie, and Hailey Grimmius. Here we go. Let's just jump right in. So the first question that I wanted to ask you was, what were your expectations about what high school would be like? Going into it as you finish your 8th grade year, you're a freshman in high school. Did you have any expectations going into high school, and then throughout your high school career? How is it different than what actually it was like? Or was there anything that surprised you? Or was there anything like, oh man, I totally didn't expect this, or what I expected totally happened? Or kind of talk about that a little bit.
I don't know. I just thought it would be kind of scary because I thought everybody would be so much bigger than us, but it really wasn't that bad.
I think from my experience, I grew up being in theater with a lot of kids that were older than me, and they kind of told stories, and I knew kind of from that what it might be like, and it kind of was like that. So
I just realized that it was kind of going to be hard, and it would be kind of hard to fit in with all the high schoolers since you're just kind of freshmen. But after freshman year, it was pretty easy.
I was just scared that it would be weird because you can have all 4 grades in one class, but it actually let me meet a lot of new people, and people were nicer than I thought they would be.
That's true.
Yeah. So was there anything your freshman year that you experienced that just kind of blew your mind that you totally weren't expecting? Or was there anything that you were just like, oh, this is kind of lame, that, after your freshman year, you realized?
My freshman year was probably my worst by grade-wise because I really didn't try. And I kind of realized afterward that I'm going to have to put more effort into it.
True, the classes are harder than at middle school.
They're a lot longer, too. You have to sit there and pay attention for a lot longer than middle school.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
something that was weird for me was I didn't expect that kids would have free periods that they could leave the school and just go and get food.
Oh.
True.
Nice. Yeah, so Jackson, you're in Jackson, right, Hailey?
Yeah.
And then so Jackson's an open campus. Is Worthington an open campus too?
Jackson isn't open campus necessarily. You kind of have to have a free period,
Oh, okay.
out to go.
Mm-hmm.
For Worthington, we have the PSEO classes. So when you have a class, you're free to leave and study at home, but then you just have to show up to school with your other period.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, we have that at Jackson too.
Mm-hmm. So how many of you guys took PSEO classes and stuff? Was it mostly through the community college here in Worthington, or what all did you guys do with that?
Right now, I have only one class at the high school. The rest are online at Minnesota West. So I only had to go to the high school for an hour and a half in the morning, and then I just went home the rest of the day to do college classes.
Nice.
Yeah, it was nice.
I mostly took concurrent enrollment ones that were at my high school, and I didn't leave most of the time. I actually signed up for a TA my senior year, which meant that I went to the elementary school and I helped the teacher there.
Oh, fun.
So
Yeah, I just took economics at the college this year, and then I just finished up taking sociology.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I took a few classes online at the college. It's nice because you can do your work when you have time to do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of, you make your own schedule. It's kind of nice.
Yeah. How much did you have to figure out how to balance your schedule? Like you talk about scheduling, kind of doing classes when you have time. How many of you guys, like, did you work during high school, or how did you balance that tension of like having a social life, or, you know, hanging out with your friends, or having a job with getting your schoolwork done?
I just try to get my schoolwork done like way before it's due. I don't know, a lot of the teachers give you quite a bit of time to get it done. So I find it better if I don't procrastinate and just do it right away. And then I have like the rest of the week to do whatever I want, like work or be with friends or whatever.
Nice.
Yeah, it was good to balance everything because with school, you try to just do it when you can. And then I did work at Hy-Vee and Pivot Sports throughout my high school career, so it was just good to balance everything.
I think it's easier when you get your schoolwork done beforehand, so you know you're not like stressed out trying to figure out when you have time to do it. I think it's easier if you like do your work first.
Like for me, I do a lot of activities. Like every day is different for me. So I don't really have much free time to do a lot of my homework. So I just kind of do it whenever like I have the time.
Cool. Well, I think that's good to hear from your perspective, and I think, even as you get older, finding that balance. As you get into college, and even now, like as an adult, I'm finding myself, I got to balance. I just want to hang out or read a book or do whatever instead of getting the work done that I need to. If you can figure out that balance early on, that's really, really helpful just in life in general. So that's cool. Okay. The second question that I wanted to ask you guys specifically was, what were some specific ways that you were able to grow in your walk with Christ during high school? Again, this kind of goes back to the other question about balancing the things that you have to do, the things that you want to do. Was there anything that made it difficult to grow in your walk with Christ? Or was there anything that made it easier? Or were there any significant people in your life that helped you grow? Talk a little bit about, throughout high school, how did you manage your walk with Christ? So, like, how did you find ways to grow, and what were the things that either made it hard or difficult, or kind of talk a little bit about that?
Well, I kind of designated the Wednesday nights kind of for just going to church and learning about God and just working through different scenarios in my life. And things do get tough when you're in high school. There's a lot of temptations out there that can try to persuade you to do something that you don't want to do. But after just a lot of temptations, you eventually know what's going on and how to react to it.
Yeah, I think like going to Sunday school with everybody and learning other people's like opinions and things about stuff. But it's also kind of hard when you have to work on some Sundays and you can't make it to every Sunday school. But I think like also being with your family a lot too helps you kind of get closer to.
Yeah, I agree with her. Like, I always tried to like take off Sundays and stuff, but there would be days where she'd be like, "Can you please come into work?" And then it like sucked because I couldn't go to Sunday school. But I just try. I have like some apps on my phone that have like devotions and things like that. I like at least once a day I find myself like looking at that. It gives me notifications, so that kind of helps.
Nice.
Well, I kind of grew up in a school community where almost every single person went to some church. So it was kind of nice to be around people that all kind of went to church on Sunday.
Mm-hmm. That's cool.
It was kind of difficult too, because with work and everything, it's just kind of hard to balance that too. But even with sports, with a lot of weeknights, you have games and stuff like that,
Were there any people specifically, whether it's parents or friends at school or friends outside of school, Sunday school teachers, whatever, was there anyone particularly that you really looked up to or respected or taught you stuff or really helped you think through your walk with Christ?
I would say definitely our grandparents. They talked to us a lot. Like before I got baptized, they really pushed me. They talked to me a lot about thinking about being able to get baptized. And I think they help a lot.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that one. And also parents too. They always push you to be your best, and they know what's the best for you.
Yeah, they've grandparents and my parents like try to set the best. I feel like they've set a really good example of what I want to like look up to be.
Hailey, how about you? Is there anyone in particular that you can think of that really helped you grow?
Probably my grandparents.
Mm-hmm. Cool. All right, so let's move on to what are your plans now, as such as they may be. What do you have any plans for the future now that you're graduating? What expectations do you have going in? If you're going into college, what are your expectations moving into that? How are you planning to stay connected to church or youth group if you're moving out of town? Talk about your future plans now as you're leaving high school and kind of the structure of high school isn't there anymore. What are your hopes for? What are you planning for the future now?
Well, I plan to go to University of Sioux Falls, which is kind of a Christian college, and they do have like chapel like I think it's every Tuesday night. Yeah.
Okay, cool. What are you going to be studying there?
Music education.
Oh, nice. Cool.
I'm going to Alexandria, Minnesota for law enforcement at their technical school. I have heard they have a lot of like churches there that let in a lot of like college students. So that's nice. And yeah, I'm going there for 2 years, so hope to meet a lot of new friends.
Yeah, this fall I plan on attending Northwest Iowa Community College in Sheldon, Iowa, for industrial and commercial wiring. And for staying connected with church and stuff, I do plan probably coming back a lot of weekends to attend Sunday church. And I would think there'd be some kind of groups maybe there that would maybe reach out to each other and kind of help each other.
I'm going to South Dakota State University in Brookings for early childhood elementary education. But like Ethan, I don't know. I plan on coming home. It's like an hour and a half away, but I plan on coming home like at least every other weekend. But I know they have a whole bunch of different groups there and like church groups, and they have a chapel there. But I plan on coming home.
Cool. Good.
I do know, or I kind of expect like college to be kind of harder, and we'll just have to be able to manage our time well too, and just battling with different things.
Yeah, I feel like there will be a lot of new like temptations, just like when you go into high school, all the temptations there, I'm sure has even more.
All right. So if there was one thing that you could go back and tell yourself at the end of 8th grade, what would you tell yourself, your 8th grade self?
To listen to the seniors when they say that time flies during high school. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because
I would just tell myself to not really be scared and just kind of cheer yourself up knowing that it's going to be a new experience.
Oh, that's a hard one. I would say like try not to let other people change who you are and just be who you want to be.
I think I'd say, well, some of the friends you have now, they they'll stay your friends. You'll probably talk to them after high school, but some of them you probably won't have after junior year.
That is some good information right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So how did your friendships change? Like, was there a big shift from middle school and like specific interests you had and then your circle of friends, or how did you figure out kind of how to make friends, or what was something through high school that you found really helpful in either keeping the friends that you had from middle school or figuring out how to shift in your friendships and relationships?
Well, in 8th grade, we wrote a letter to ourselves that they just sent us in the mail.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I was reading mine, and I had wrote who my friends were, like my best friends. And I'm not friends with like any of them anymore. So I thought that was funny. But I just feel like in high school, you like really find out like who you are. And I feel like now I relate more with the people who have the same interests as me. I don't know. And you meet people of different grades that you become friends with. So that kind of changed it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think we all kind of like, I don't talk to anybody from middle school really. I think like most of my friends or people that I hang out with are like through like sports and activities that I'm involved in, and you're with them most of the time. So I think that's how you kind of meet most of the people, is just get involved in things.
Mm-hmm. I've been very fortunate because most of my friends in middle school are still very close, and yeah, just with sports and other activities, you kind of start to meet new people and see how they interact with others. And
So we talked about this a little bit, just kind of the temptations that are in high school. How do you deal with peer pressure? Like, you have this circle of friends, and maybe they're really good friends, and they're solid and they got good character, and you're not dealing with a lot of bad stuff that your friends are telling you, but there is pressure in high school from your peers to do things that either aren't right, or things that maybe aren't the best thing. How do you deal with peer pressure in that, when it's your circle of friends, when it's people that you normally trust, you value their friendship, and you value staying connected in a friendship with them? How do you balance, and how do you deal with that tension of, this isn't right, but I really want to be friends with you?
Well, I didn't really experience much of that. Like, it was mostly like a whole like you do you thing or whatever. I think the most peer pressure I ever experienced was sophomore year, when one of my friends wanted to go to McDonald's at 10 to play practice in Wyndham. And I was like, no thanks, just drive me home.
Yeah, I guess if it's something that I don't want to do, I'm just like, oh, I have to go home now. Or I'll just go home. I don't know. Just kind of ignore it. Like she said, the you do you thing. Like, if it's something that could hurt them, I don't want them to do it. So I'll like try to talk them out of it. But in the end, it's their decision, I guess.
Yeah, like if I'm in a weird situation and I don't want to be there, I'll usually be like, oh, my mom texted me, I have to go home, or something like that. I always blame it on my mom. She told me that too. She's like, if you need to get something out of something, just blame it on me. So that's what I do.
yep. I just think like with the temptation, you always just kind of go with your inner feeling, and just like what your parents have always told you, and something that my family members have always told me is just remember, your brains aren't spaghetti. So you just kind of have that in the back of your head and just know right from wrong.
Okay, so what can we, talking about the kind of the collective we of the church, those of us who are not graduating seniors, what can we do to help you and encourage you, specifically right now? Obviously right now is just insane, and there's all kinds of craziness that wasn't expected that has happened over the last couple months. But even just in general, is there anything that you need help with, or a way that we can encourage you as the church, as the body of Christ? What can we do for you right now?
I guess for me, there's just some days where I need to remember to like accept the change, that there's like nothing I can do about it, it's in God's hands, and just try to stay positive through that. Because everyone has those days where they're like, oh, nothing's going right. But just staying positive and yeah.
I think just like having people pray for you, just kind of letting you know that they're with you, and yeah.
I think it's kind of, I don't know how you would say it, kind of like, not like interesting, but it's kind of cool. Like if I'm like working at Hy-Vee and somebody from like the church will come and say hi to me or have like a short conversation, I just think that's pretty cool because they know you from the church, so they just at least like say hi. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Hailey, anything specific that you can think of that we can do to encourage or help out with you seniors?
Just pray for us, I guess.
Yeah. Cool. Is there anything else that you think is something important that you want to say, or is there anything that you feel like this is really important to think about either during this time or as a high schooler, as a graduating senior? I want people to really know this or think about this either about you personally or just high school in general.
I just think having like all your friends that you have and family members just help you through the hard times, and just knowing that with graduation we're not going to get what we really wanted, but we just have to make the most out of it.
Yeah, making the most of situations and having a support group. Everyone needs someone in their lives to boost them up.
What would you say to people who don't necessarily have that support group at home? Like you guys are blessed with good parents and grandparents and people that are kind of around you, a community to support you. But there are high schoolers or kids going into high school that don't necessarily have that. What would you say to those kids who need to find someone to support them and encourage them and lift them up, someone that they can lean on, whether it's an adult or a teacher or something? Is there any advice that you could give to students who need that support group and need to find that?
I guess I would say, like, don't be afraid to ask for help, because most people out there, like especially in our community, I feel like there's so many people that are like willing to help you and willing to listen to you, like whether it's a teacher or someone at church, even if like it's not someone that lives with you, there's people to find out there. You just have to ask and like let them know how you're feeling.
And just make sure to stay true to yourself too.
Yeah, I think like the best option if you don't have like support at home would find like a really supportive friend group, because you'll be with them most of the time, and I think it's better if you have like more positive friends than friends that put you down or make fun of you.
Cool. Well, thanks, guys. I think all the questions I have. Cool. Thanks for meeting with me. I appreciate all of you. Praying for you.
Yeah.
You guys are awesome.
Have a nice day.
Yep.
Yeah. Have a good afternoon. Have fun at work.
Woo!